Please be seated. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to each and every one of you, especially some of our leaders. Well, any chairs, Datuk, Datin, professors, associate professors, doctors, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this special talk program organized by Faculty of Dentistry. My name is Professor Dr. Hadijah Abdullah, and I'll be your host for the session. Today's program is not just about event, it's an opportunity to share insights, spark ideas, and engage in meaningful dialogue regarding the implications of generative AI for the way universities educate, work, and serve. So now I would like to invite our Dean, Professor Datuk Dr. Muhammad Ibrahim, for his welcoming reward.
Thank you very much, our MC is Professor Jack. First and foremost, deans, deputy deans, academic staff from MASA and also support staff, and also our distinguished speaker, Dr. Zahir Udin. Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon. Today we are very proud to have our one speaker from the University of Malaya, Professor Zahir Udin. Talking about AI, because we thought that now the things we're talking about more about AI, how AI can help us in our daily work. So, one speaker will be talking about AI quite some time, and we hope that the topic that he's going to share with us will be useful in our daily work and also whatever we do with our life apart from coming to work or teaching. So as organizer, Faculty Dentistry, we welcome you all very much to support this program, and we hope that this at the end of the day we will get some knowledge, some light on for how to use AI in our daily work. Again, on behalf of MASA, we would like to thank you, Dr. Zahiruddin. Actually, I approached her several months ago. I approached him several months ago, about 5 or 6 months ago. I asked her to book the date for today, and alhamdulillah, he has remembered my invitation. So you accept our invitation to come and talk to us. Again, thank you very much for coming. As I said, hopefully this talk will be useful and beneficial for all of us in doing our work. Thank you.
Thank you, Dato. Dr. Zahiruddin, thank you very much for spending your time here with us to share your knowledge. Okay, just a short biography about Dr. Zahiruddin Fitri. He is a senior lecturer in the Building Surveying Department at Faculty of Built Environment, University Malaya. Specializing in building pathology, he earned his PhD in concrete technology from the University of Dundee in 2012. From 2014 to 2024, he served as the head of e-learning at the university and was also the deputy director of the Academic Development Center from 2020 to 2022. A key resource in teaching and learning, he has conducted extensive training for academics and co-authored university policies on e-learning. He has also played a crucial role in shaping Malaysia's higher education landscape through his involvement in MACTA, a national think tank for e-learning policy and European-level projects like Erasmus and CBHE. Passionate about pedagogy innovation, he actively writes on technology-enhanced learning and contributes to national and international education initiatives. Before we dive to his talk, I would like to have a quick thanks to each and one of you for being part of this gathering. Your presence do makes lots of the difference. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Dr. Zahiruddin Fitri to the stage to deliver his talk.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good afternoon to everyone who attended today. I think first I would like to give thanks to Prof. Dato for inviting me. And as he said before, he did invite me very early on. I think it was in February, isn't it, when Dentistry had their own conference. So he extended the invitation, and yes, of course, I do remember. So that's why I'm, here today, accepting this invitation to talk about something that's affecting us right now, which is AI, and also how does it shape and also influence the university. Before I think we start further, so a little bit more about my introduction. So thank you, Prof. Khatijah, for that introduction. Maybe sometime some of you would think, what is this, building technology guy doing talks about AI and education? And of course, it comes from the realization. So this is something that I learned very early on when I started work in academia. I finished my PhD in 2012, and quickly I realized I am not trained to teach. So that is the start of the journey of exploring education as something that we as educators need to know about. It's not about coming back from your PhD and then suddenly magically you know how to teach. So that's the realization I made during my first years, and that led me to asking a lot of questions. And eventually, probably, so this is me joking with colleagues, I'm asking too many questions. The central office sort of pull me, okay, come and serve, because of too many questions being asked. Okay, so going back to our topic, universities in the AI age. Okay, of course, universities and AI should not be something that's further apart. It should be very close, because what you learn in university, or what we research in university, especially in University Malaya, is AI based. a lot of things, especially our colleagues from Faculty of Computer Science, a lot of them doing cutting edge research in AI. And this is not just what we are doing or we are using today, which is mostly we are familiar with ChatGPT and Gemini. Those are AI, but those are specifically what they call a large language model. And that's what we interact with, every day. But AI is more than that. There are a lot of other artificial intelligence or machine learning systems that have been around for many, many years. Okay? But we are going to focus today on the one that we are doing or we are using as, I would say, lay people when we are doing or when we are conversing with the AI, the LLM. Okay, so this is what I'm going to go through. Hopefully, we have time to do or cover most of these things. This is something that's me and microphones. Sometimes I got carried away. So hopefully we don't have that today. So we are going to look at how AI impacted the higher education, teaching and learning, especially the past 1 or 2 years, and where we are and where we can go in the future. Okay, so the AI's impact on higher education, learning and teaching. So I think most of you who are educators, maybe some of you are administrators, and maybe some of you are also students. We can start to see the impact even today. Okay, so at the institutional level, we at have been doing a few things that's related to AI, apart from the normal AI-based research done mainly at the Faculty of Computer Sciences. But at the ground level, so one of the things that we are doing is we are now embarking on some of a few pilot projects for the Ministry of Higher Education. So if you have heard of the Excel framework, where you have competency-based model education. So one of the faculties is actually piloting the what we call the POISE from framework. So there are 4 frameworks there, which is real, ideal, and then care, and then POISE. So those are the 4 different frameworks that KPT is trying to get universities to go to do. is piloting POISE, personalized learning. So we can foresee that actually POISE can be, because POISE works on the basis of students have the ability to choose and to chart their own educational experience. So it's personalized learning experience. So they will come out with a degree that they tailor-made themselves. Okay, so we can see that AI have the ability to help students with that. Okay, so it might look or sound like a course prediction model, or it can be also designed as a course recommendation model on AI, so that then students who are creating their or curating their personal learning experience to get a degree at the end of 4 years or 3.5 years will be able to get help from AI to chart that journey for themselves. Okay, and then one thing that we can see how AI is impacting the university is actually to help our lecturers to start to look at different models of delivering their education to students. Okay, so some people only go into this normal, I would say, a conventional lecture model. So everybody or most of the people finish PhD and then they start teaching, and the default mode for teaching is lecture. I would say that would be true for 99% of lecturers, just because the name or the what we imply, if you are a lecturer, you're going to lecture, isn't it? So, but when you have AI to help you design learning experience, that can be turned on its head. Okay, the lecture model is actually on the research point of view, the lecture model is the least most effective ways of delivering higher education. You are standing in front of people. I told my colleagues, you are standing in front of your students, telling them or showing them that you are working, but that does not necessarily equate to learning to happen. Let's think about it. If you are lecturing, how do you make sure, or how do you guarantee that learning is happening? There's no way of guaranteeing it, isn't it? So to try to fix that, you can start to get the ideas or suggestions from systems like ChatGPT or Gemini, that you can use those prompts to help you redesign your teaching approaches. Okay, so for educators, that is something that I'm advocating in UM right now. And then the next one is, which is I think something that's also very important to students, is actually feedback. The lecture model assumes that students get whatever information that we give them. Okay, but what's important for students when you look at the research is actually the feedback. And what's more important to students than personalized feedback? Feedback tailored to whatever learning artifacts that they produce or questions that they have. So since we only have 24 hours in a day, and normally our office hours last from morning to about 5 o'clock, so where do students get the help they need that they need if they have questions 8 o'clock at night? Okay, so my personal policy, after office hours, if you ask me question, so this is for students, you can expect the answer is during working hours the next day. Okay, but with AI chatbot, if you can design that properly, then it helps the students to get the answers that they need during the time that they have the questions. We have a data insight from University Malaya that shows students are active between 9 o'clock at night to 12 o'clock at night. So that's when students go and search information and things in the internet. And that's when they access our learning management system at 9 to 12 o'clock at night. So, and that in that 9 to 12 o'clock at night, there's no lecturers to help them. But that's when they go in and search for things on the LMS, open up the the lecture notes or the presentation or whatever, and also do their work. So that's when they actually have questions, but we are not there to help them. Okay, so and on the student side, looking at how AI can help them, we look at the chatbots that I was talking about just now, isn't it? So during that hours that they are having questions, that's when AI chatbot, if properly designed, can help. Okay. The next one is looking at assessment. So when assessment is designed to help students make sure that they learn something from the assessment, that is when assessment becomes a learning experience or an important part of their learning journey. And that's very important, because when we look at assessment as a whole, there are three different types of assessment, isn't it? The first one is the assessment of learning, which is the normal exams that we have, or any learning artifact that they create or produce after they have learned something. That is assessment of learning. And we have assessment as learning and assessment for learning. Okay, and what I'm talking about now is actually the second one, the assessment as learning. That means we design the assessment as part of the student's learning experience. They get feedback from the assessment that they submit to us or submit to the learning system. That's useful for the students. Okay, and when we look at how we can create that assessment and use the help of AI to create the assessment, then it becomes something that's useful for the students. Okay, so looking at how the conceptual approach of how AI can help the students and also us educators at the university, let's look at what we are doing in UM. Okay, so I would just broadly arrange in these three things. The first one is AI embedded LMS. So we have started to design the LMS experience with AI chatbots. So that's how we are going forward with this in University of Malaya. So for now, the AI chatbot is quite, I would say, rudimentary. So it's built in ChatGPT, and it uses the knowledge base that we have in our LMS to help the students to answer things that they need answering. Okay, at the moment it's quite at the higher level, so that means it's not directly into the courses yet. It's not programmed on the course base yet, but it's programmed on the LMS as a whole. So that means looking or telling the students or informing the students how, for example, to go in and answer quizzes, how to log in if you know if you have problems. So those are the things that the students can ask right now. But the main idea is actually we would start to program each chatbot to tailor-made to different courses. So, for example, if you are a student in dentistry, you can ask the questions about the course that you did in dentistry. And that chat is going to be different for students who are doing management, for example, or sports science. The questions being asked and also the answers being given will be based on the knowledge base on the course level. It's not on the LMS level. So that's the way that we are heading in the university. So for example, like this one, the center one is quite telling. So my course is missing. So that kind of questions are being entertained right now. But the idea is that we are moving towards program-based and course-based, knowledge-based for the ChatGPT or for the LMS. And then, of course, without infrastructure, things would fall apart. Okay, so that's why at we have started to deploy Wi-Fi 7 network. So the news says it's AI powered. So as a user, I would still not be able to experience where is the AI part. Probably at the the resource management level. And then we also have data warehouse. So data warehouse is very important in AI application because that's where the university keeps its knowledge base. And that's where users of the AI system will be able to to get answers tailored contextually to the environment that they are in. Because otherwise, what if you ask the same question to like a normal GPT, you will not get the specific answer that you need. So that contextual information is very important, and that's where the data warehouse is very important. And I think the data warehouse system or deployment is now still running. So the last information that I have is that we are going to have a proper data warehouse by 2027 or 2028. So that's the planning anyway. And the third one, which is also very important, is the AI policies. Okay, so the AI policies governs and also make sure the AI use is policed and also regulated at the university level. So I'm sitting in one of the AI policy task force to start to create the AI policy for academic use for University Malaya. So at the ministry level, they have just a general guideline for AI, generative AI, but at the university, we need to have our own, policies to govern how the use of AI for academic use is done, and also at the general level, how do you use AI, the policies, to administrate the university. So how do you run the university using AI? So that is also quite important. And of course, we have the ethical use of AI guidelines as part of that academic policy on AI. And one thing that's very important for any deployment of technology also, or any something that's new, is actually help for the users. Okay, so hopefully at Masa University would also have this very important, where when you are deploying something new, the measure of which whether it gets used effectively or not, or if it gets used at all, is actually the training and also the advocacy for it. Okay, so coming from the advocacy background, so as my role as a head of e-learning, I don't have really any a big authority to make people do things. So advocacy is very important. So you need to approach and also get the right champions to help you with the deployment of any new technologies or any new policies that the university is going to run. For example, AI. Okay, so the policy right now, and so the direction right now is actually we are going to introduce AI basics for everyone. And the AI basics for everyone will sit in every program. So that means if I'm, for example, from the Faculty of Built Environment, so we have our own course at the Faculty of Built Environment. Is actually AI for Built Environment. And this course is going to be taken by all undergraduate students. So first year students across different schools or different programs, they will need to complete the AI for Built Environment. And that would be different than students in, for example, Faculty of Creative Arts. They have their own set of course. So AI for Creative Arts students. So we are going down this route, meaning that everybody will have this idea that how AI works in their program. So that's number one. Number two, we do have the AI for everyone course that needs to be completed by the students. So that is one from the government level, so AI for everyone, and at the faculty level, at the program level, we also have this AI for each specific program that we design. And I'm going to be teaching the first AI for Built Environment course next semester in October. And then the second one is training for early career academics. So in University Malaya, we have 2 weeks of teaching and learning training for anybody who joined the university. So, and that's part of the whole sort of gamut of training on teaching, training on research, and also training on admin work. Because in University Malaya, we do, our lecturers also do admin work, some of the admin work. So we also, of course, we do have office staff to do the office the normal office thing, but at the same time we are also responsible for some of the admin work. So the training for AI for early career academy is actually quite important. It forms part of that deployment of training for teachers or for educators that we started last year. So last year we had a revamp of our training for early career academics, and part of one of the modules that we have is actually training on the use of AI. And then, of course, we have this general AI training for all staff. So a lot of systems now can be made more efficient with the use of AI, especially for the layman, the use of LLM in whatever work that you have. So we are deploying this training that relates to what the AI system that we have. Each of the University Malaya staff in our mobile apps, we also have an AI agent inside the mobile app. So that kind of training is something that's ongoing, so that then people can start to use those AI tools effectively at the university, especially for the admin staff and also for the education staff. So the next question, which is very important, especially when you are teaching, is to understand what large language models are. A lot of people, they get the the link to ChatGPT, they just use it, and the easy way to use it is to ask whatever question that you have there. Some people even use it as a search engine, which is something that I would say not really that good way of using it. Is knowing what LLM is matter, especially for teachers, educators, and also especially for students. Okay, so AI ChatGPT is actually what is called generative AI. What generative means, it generates text based on the inputs that we give. So people are, I think people are aware of prompting, isn't it? Prompting, prompt engineering. So those are the kinds of terminologies that we are being exposed to right now. Okay, and then what we are using for our day-to-day work as non-AI experts is actually the large language model, so the Geminis and the ChatGPTs. And this system actually create or generate text for us. So how does it work? So this is from looking at so many diagrams of how ChatGPT works. I find this is the most simplistic one that can help everybody understand. Okay, so we prompt, and the prompt is analyzed. So the analysis of the prompt by the ChatGPT or the generative pre-transform. So GPT stands for generative pre-transform. Okay, and every word have a meaning. Okay, so the analyze is analyzed using neural network, and it's done to match pattern. So a pattern is a pattern of words that's going to come after. and there will be a few more image that you can see later. Okay, and it goes into this mode which is called word prediction. So this is very important, and this is the keyword of how this LLM or the large language models work. It predicts the next word, okay, and then it will create that generation. It will create that response, so then you get this real-time answer. So whenever you ask question to ChatGPT, you will find that it will be able to create the answers right after. So how does it work again? So this is a more, I would say, a more complex way of looking at how the system produce the next word and the next word and the next word. Okay, so what happens is that token is, we start from the bottom. The system will break down text into different tokens. Okay, so if each word will have its own what they call token. Okay, and those tokens are being processed, and then they apply transformer magic. So if you look at the number 3, transformer magic. So there are people who say AI is still a black box, that we still don't fully understand how does it create that. So in technology, magic is not supposed to be a word, isn't it? Everything needs to be able to be identified and described. Okay, and then it will create this probability index where which is the next likely word is going to appear. Okay, so that's the magic, and also the feed forward layers. So it will start to look at what are the iterations of this next word that's coming out, so that then it becomes a text that people can read. So if you have time, go into this Polo Club GitHub. It will tell you how those next word is created. So of course this is just a picture, but there are many transformer blocks, and also there are many heads based on the query that the system is being asked to give output to. So for example, the example is IEEE BIS conference highlights the most. So the next question, or the next word, which is most, is actually being processed that way. So that's how the complexity of generative pre-transform system works to predict the next word, and then it has to predict the next word. So after most, which what is it? Isn't it? So that is a system that's been run through many times. So to put it simply, this is what we need to inform the students. The generative AI is basically a text prediction engine. Okay, so how does that text prediction engine so that's the question. So let me repeat this again. How does a text prediction replaces real intelligence? Okay, of course we know that this system is trained on many sets of data. So if from reading, it's training on 15 trillion sets of data of whatever corpus that's already available on the internet. Okay, so and those 15 trillion sets of data is what feeds this. So that's why it looks the output looks very intelligent. You have that 15 trillion sets of data to back you up. So it sounds convincing, but for the trained eye, for us, the educators who are subject matter experts, you'll be able to quickly poke holes into this generated answers or response that the ChatGPT gives you, because of our our expertise. And that is something that the students have. And that is something that we need to help the students in terms of making sure when they ask the AI system to generate answers for them, we know that it is susceptible to flaws. Okay? And of course, then now we have bigger or better models, and when you are prompting AI, now it can give you image even. It's quite convincing, the image generated by this AI system. The whole of the presentation today, all the images are created by this AI system. Okay? There's no real photos being used. And even that picture is actually AI generated. Okay? And the generative AI is not just looking at the system at the large language model level. We are looking at images. We are also looking at analysis to find trends that was not really apparent before. So if you read the news, they are using AI now for meta-analysis to find patterns in diseases, and that has started to create and look at the relationship between different diseases and also different lifestyle, and things that was supposed to be not really apparent to us. Okay, then that meta-analysis is what is being used now in academic research. So 5 months ago, I have never heard of this context engineering. I first come to the terms of context engineering for last month. But apparently, in AI LLM research, this is the big thing now, context engineering. So the difference between prompt engineering, okay, let's go back. The difference between prompt engineering and context engineering is quite significant. Okay, when you are prompting an AI system, you are prompting a general AI. That means you ask the question. So, for example, what would be the likelihood of World War III coming? And then it will come up with the answer based on whatever information that you have. And then we have prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is looking at how to write your prompt so that then you get the output that you need. Okay, so that's prompt engineering. So that's now. So today is already old news. What we need to understand now is actually context engineering, because when so I believe everybody would have experienced this at some point or rather when you are playing with AI systems a lot. Is context is very important. Okay, and looking at how ChatGPT works or the LLM system works, context is very important. Okay, and what context engineering does is actually you create a tailor-made environment for the AI system, so that then it gives you what you want, specific to the context that you are in. Okay, for example, it's actually projects and also custom GPT. So who here, just a raise of hand, who here have used projects in ChatGPT? Anyone? Okay, one person have used projects in ChatGPT. What about custom GPT? Anybody here uses custom GPT? Of course, you need to have a paid account for custom GPT. Nobody? Not yet? Okay, so this is something that you need to start to explore today, okay, at 5 o'clock. Okay, so projects allow you to have a library of knowledge base, so that then it that project gives context to what GPT produces for you. Okay, same with custom GPT. So you actually create a set of instruction, so that then the system will be able to look at the list of knowledge that you create for specifically for the project, so that then it gives you the answer tailored to what you need. Okay, and you can save those and you can share that with whoever is working on the same project as you. Okay, so the university application for this is something that I'm toying with right now, which I am doing right now. It's actually creating or designing a program, an academic program. Okay, the issue with creating a new academic program, or doing a review of a curriculum, is that you need to map your program or your courses to specific sets of sometimes competing mapping requirements. Okay, you have the Ministry of Higher Education, requirement on this side, and then you have the professional body requirement on this side, and then you also have the university level things that you need to also map to on this side. Sometimes these three competes with each other. Sometimes they are contradicting each other. So to help you with the complex task of creating a new program, academic program, you use the projects and custom GPT to help you with that process. Okay, so this is what I created for my department. Okay, so it's a building surveying. So this is my department, building surveying 2025 curriculum review. So we are working on this right now. We are at the sort of halfway point of our curriculum review process. So we are given 1 year to do that. So I created the custom GPT, put it in a projects mode, and all the competing requirements. So if you have a look on this side, so we have the building surveying pathway. So this is the professional body requirement. We have the program standard for building surveying. So that's from the MQA. We have the Excel playbook. So just now I was talking about that Excel. That is the requirement from Ministry of Higher Education. And then we also have from the university level, which is the pembelajaran teradu. So this is something blended learning. The NQF 2024 is actually the whole of the COPA 2. So everything is put as part of the knowledge base. So then when any of our program members try to create courses, it will read from all this knowledge base to make sure that everything is aligned. Okay, that is the course level. At the high level, at the program design level, also same thing. Everything should be mapped to the requirements of all these three sometimes competing bodies. Okay, so the instruction is very important, and that is where the context engineering is created. So that then you know the AI knows what are the tasks that they're supposed to be performing, how to make sure that the task follows the requirements of all these different competing requirements, and what document to look for or look at in creating the course, in creating the assessments, in also creating the synopsis or the program. Everything has to be is being guided by the context that's given in the custom GPT that's created. So that's how context engineering is being done at the department level, at my level. And that is something that would help us. I would say, I would argue that this frees us from the the painstaking task of making sure that so you meet the mapping of this one program or mapping of this one body, but then you not fail on this part, and then to make sure that everything is mapped together. I'm using this so that then when the GPT helped me to produce the curriculum document to submit to MQA, to submit to the university, then everything are being met. So it takes that arduous or painstaking task away, so that then we can focus on creating or designing the learning experience. And even that, we are using the custom GPT to help tailor this learning experience for the students. Okay, so the potential and challenges of AI education. So this is something that we need to start exploring, and a lot of people are already starting to explore this. Number one is student at risk patterns. Okay, so what we mean by student at risk pattern is that we can start to look at AI that it will be able to identify student at risk very early on. Okay, especially for, I would say, I think I would argue that especially for private universities, so student at risk is very important because it would affect on the feedback that you get, isn't it, as a university. So if you can identify student at risk, then you can start the intervention earlier, and that helps with the reputation of the university. And then the second one is designing assessment for AI and also human competencies. So I read one of the reports in higher education technology that educators need to start to think about trying to separate these two things. So of course you are doing assessment or designing assessment with AI in mind, but there are two things that you need to look at or consider separating, which is the deciding assessment. The first one is for foundation knowledge, critical thinking, and discipline expertise. That's number one, and that's normally is taken out from using AI. But then you also build at the same time the students' competency to use AI, because let's face it, when they go out to work, they will be required by their employers to be able to use AI. That is a reality that we have to face. And it's better that we start them now in the university, because they have a safe place to fail when they do that. Okay? And then the next one is the adaptive assessment system. So now we can look education or assessment is done assessment for learning. Assessment for learning, and also assessment as learning to help us design this adaptive assessment. So what it does is actually you create or design assessment that is based on the scaffolding method. So you use, so that means if you have the final assessment, the big assessment at probably like week 14, you are actually building it from week 1. So you have assessment, 4 different sets of assessment that goes one step higher before they submit the last assessment. So what happens is that at the first hurdle, so assessment, like, let's say this assessment, the first hurdle is actually at 10%. So that 10%, student will get feedback from the AI system to adapt the next set of assessment and the next set of assessment. So make sure that it makes sure that students know where their issues are, and then move before they are able to move forward. And if we have, for example, 40 students, we might be able to do it manually ourselves. I mean, a group of 5, for example, goes to us. So this is your first level assessment. These are the problems before you move on to the next one. But if you have a 300 students, how do you make sure that they get the feedback that they need? Just now, I was talking about how important feedback are to the students in their learning journey, isn't it? So AI system will be able to help this using the adaptive assessment system. Okay, so and for at the university level, so apart from what I was talking about just now, looking at how we can start to use AI to help us with the curriculum review. So that's one example. Maybe we have more. Then there are, I would say this, I would say 3 things, which is something that might be useful for the university. Okay, the first one is advanced research platform and AI-powered database. So remember, I was talking about the data warehouse just now. Okay, so when you incorporate the AI into data warehouse, it helps you with the decision making. Okay, so the decision making is still with us. What AI does is actually it helps with the of the decision that we need to make. The second one, administrative systems. Okay, so how can help you with the administrative system? So the example here is scheduling, because I have not been a class scheduler myself, but I have seen people get stressed because of they have to manage scheduling, especially for when you have returning students who failed last semester, they need to take the same class this semester. So my colleagues have headaches, trying to do this, and why not get AI to help you with that? So that's one. There are many more things. The point is, the AI system is there to help, so that then you can focus on the more, I would say, human touch issues or problems. So things like communication, conflict mediation, building trust and institutional support, rapport, and also mentoring and nurturing talents. So that's what a university is supposed to be doing for their staff, isn't it? Making sure that their staff can work efficiently, so that then you can focus on things that AI cannot do. Okay, and of course, I was talking about this many times, getting the chatbot up and running, because although it sounds quite straightforward, it's not easy, especially to do it on a large scale at the university level for all of your learning management system, for all of your programs, for all of your courses. In University Malaya, we have 3,000 courses per semester. So how do you get chatbots specifically catered for each one of the 3,000 courses per semester? Okay, how many courses do we have per semester in Master? Four hundred. No, for the whole university. Yeah. 95 program. So that means probably like let's times 7, isn't it? So that's about 600 courses per semester. Okay, we are dealing with 2,000, 3,000 courses per semester. So sounds simple, but it's challenging. It's tough. Okay, because the resources that you need to run those 3,000 separate AIs is enormous. Okay, but that's where we need to start heading. Okay, and one thing that we need to also look at with all the AI systems that's available, that's here, there is the need to balance things out. Okay, of course, AI helps you with the work, but then there are integrity issues that we need to ensure that we are on top of, and that's where the policy, that's where it guides what we do. Okay, it tells us the limit of what's permissible and what's not. So part of the AI policy that we have, that we are drafting for University Raya, we are telling the educators on the academic side, ChatGPT is something that you are going to use. So for course, at the course level, what you need to tell the students at what level the LLM will be used. At what level you will allow your students to use the ChatGPT for their assessment. At what level you are going to allow the students to use ChatGPT for their learning. Okay, and that is something that we are looking at the university right now. Okay, so the one thing that we found is that although it seems that AI is not taking over the world, we also realize that human touch is more important than ever. Okay, so what is the function of a university? So this is something that we need to think about for us as educators and also for the students themselves. So again, as educator, we always go back to that issue with assessment, isn't it? If you can have the AI that writes a complete essay, so where is the AI, where is the learning being generated? Have you all heard of Course Hero? Anyone heard of Course Hero before? Have you heard of Chegg before? CHEGG.
Yes.
No? No. So I would CHEGG, Chegg. Okay. So if you don't know, that means you are on precarious grounds. Because Course Hero and Chegg is actually so to put it simply, it's an assignment master. What students do, they input the requirement of the assignment, put it up to either Chegg or Course Hero. The system will create the assignment for them. They just pay. Yes, students pay to use Course Hero and Chegg to get the assignments done. So if you don't know about Chegg and Course Hero, because we don't know whether the students have done the work themselves. Okay, so I would suggest that you start looking at that, especially on assignment, things like essay things or reports. So these two systems alone, which is very popular and even subject to lawsuits in the US, is creating assignments for students. Okay, so with that, how do you know that learning is genuine? So how do you know that the work that the students submitted to us is something that they did themselves? Okay, so it's important that we go back to that notion just now. The AI can maybe generate answers, but we are the subject matter experts. isn't it? And to make sure that we know that students are doing those assignments themselves, then we need to redesign the way that we give out assignments to students. Okay, so the coursework has to be done differently, so that then we can make sure learning happens. It's okay for us to get students to use ChatGPT or Gemini to, submit some of the assessment. But what is important is the learning that happens from that to the students, because our main stakeholder are the students, and we need to make sure that learning happens, whatever system that they use, isn't it? So that's where we need to redesign our assessment. The next one is university as a social community. So this argument that you can get a degree from any university, provided that you submit the assignment, complete all the work that's needed. But what's important for the students is actually the social connections that they make in the university. It's not just going to the class, submit assignment and that's it. The university is where I would term it as students who are 18 to 21 or 22 learn adulting, isn't it? Trying to become an adult, become a responsible adult member of the society. And that's where they get to know other people, know how to deal with other people, so that then they can function in the society. I had an interesting conversation yesterday with my daughter when I was fetching her from UMPSA. So she was in Gambang, UMPSA. So after exam at 1 o'clock, I just drove to Gambang to pick her up. And one of the things that she told me is that she have grown as a person for the past one semester, and that's because she is because she was involved in extracurricular activities at her university. So she started to tell me that now I mature person. So this is just her, the way of her way of having a conversation with me probably. So I'm more mature as a person because I have seen a lot more people. Okay, and that's what a university experience add value to the students. It's not just the degree that they are earning, but also the going back to the same term that I use, adulting, becoming an adult, uh, a member of the society, and that's something that needs to happen with interaction with the students, with interaction with their peers, with interaction with you as the educator. And that's very important, because if, let's say, the students sit in their room, talk to ChatGPT, they can get all the answers and they can graduate with with our degree, that whatever degree that they need to. Students, when we are giving them assignment, group assignment, what they do, what we call divide and conquer. Anybody agrees with me? That's the resounding yes. Okay, so you do this part, I do this part, you do this part, I do this part. At the end of the day, we'll collect everything, make sure it's the same font, same format, then we submit. Okay, that's group work. So they don't need to negotiate. They don't need to negotiate much, isn't it? That is how students are, learning as or creating that learning experience. And we need to make sure that university is giving them more than that. So that's why university now have today. So there was this dentistry students who are doing interpretive dance or something, isn't it? So that's the value of that socializing that they have as university students, creating networks. So then later when they go out, they will be able to use that network to expand their horizons. So that's number two, and then number three is the risk of bypassing learning. And I think this is something that we need to think about, because when we look at the way that university is run, the education is run, we need to remember one thing about education. Learning is a process. It's not an end. It's not a end product. It's a process. So that's why we have those three terminologies just now: assessment for learning, assessment as learning, assessment of learning. Assessment of learning is right at the end, but equally important, or I would argue more important, is assessment for learning and assessment as learning. So that's why if you rely on AI too much, the students don't have the struggle of learning new things. The answers is there, isn't it, in ChatGPT? So where do they learn? Because learning involves an action. If you input a prompt, you get the answer, you give the answer to your lecturer. So where is that learning? The learning comes from actually that negotiation that you need to have in your mind. Which one is right? Which one is wrong? And looking at trying to make sure that when you are doing this group work, for example, the group agrees on the output. So those kind of dialogue, negotiations, conversation, that what fuels learning, and that is very important. We get the outcome of or objective of number two, which is the university is a social community. So important. Okay, so I told you I don't have much time. Okay, so yeah, so that's basically what we need to make sure when facing our students right now. Of course, AI is there, and their employers will be asking this skill so that then they are using it in their work later. But how do we use it in the university so that then the students are aware of what needs to be important for them at the university before they go out to work. Okay, so of course, so this is something that I think everybody would have understand by now. And coming from the built environment, I in January this year, or February this year, I was invited to industry technology showcase. Okay, so that is what. So it's I think done in property development or property management company. If you know JLL, so that's the property management company, and they have started using custom GPT for their work. So that means incoming workforce into their ecosystem will need to know how to use GPT. Will need to know how to have a conversation with the large language models. Because again, without that skill, you will not be able to get meaningful answers from whatever large language model that you have. And it's very important that we start this education now in the university. So probably the AI is having problem understanding what I said. Okay, so of course, where opportunities, where we have problems, we have opportunities. So uh, I have a businessman friend who said, uh, my not mine. So what was it just now? What's relevant to this? I couldn't remember. So then when? Okay, so um, this is what we can expect in the higher education landscape later. Okay, the first one is AI integration in the classroom, the chatbot just now. Okay, data-driven education decision making. So that's number two. It's very important, so that then you can drive your business decision as a university. And then number three, training, training, training. Looks like everybody has a PhD, but having a PhD doesn't equal to being able to do complex things. You so I think many of you can attest to this. You can solve a complex problems, but then for simple things, sometimes you are struggling, isn't it? So because this needs training, AI needs training, and the university need to invest in this. And investing in human resource is something that universities need to do in order for the productivity benefits or potential can be realized further. Okay, so I think for uh, public university, also for private university, so these are the things that you can explore. Okay, the first one is having a research partnership with an industry. So maybe you can try to work with whatever or whoever that's a technology partner with you right now. Okay, maybe you are working with Google, then try to get Google to work with you. Um, Number two is looking at where you can collaborate on projects with your industry professionals. If you have a supporting technology that supports your deployment at the university, then you need to look at where is the possibility for you to work with them, and also for your students, how to get your students placed in internship where with these technology companies that uses AI, and get the students to bring back those technology back to the university. So those are the things I would say, something that a university like you can um, quickly start to deploy, because for public universities like us, it's very hard. We have layers and layers of bureaucracy to go through, but this is where private universities can uh, take the ball and start running, because you have less bureaucracy. Okay, and so this is something that I will not go into it further, but I'm going to leave you with this. In the age of AI, as a university, what do we need to protect? What we need to reinvent, and also what we need to let go. So I leave this question to you, and I'm going to give this um, uh, session back to the MC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yuri. That was very, very informative and inspiring talk about AI for in education, especially for us who are just into it. So, if there's any burning questions for Dr. Zahirudin from the floor, Dr. Chun, are you here? Dr. Chun, anybody? No.
Yes.
Yes. Look, I did it.
Thank you for your sharing. Do you have any idea how can we change the assessment? I mean, there are some things. I mean, there are a lot of discussions that we need to change the way we do the assessment. Some say that we should actually ditch the final assessment and we actually evaluate the process. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I like that idea, and I think I've sort of started to elucidate that in my talk just now. So when we look at the assessment as a process, so that's where scaffolding comes in. So you have instead of just one assessment at the end, then you can start to build those assessment as a scaffolding process or as a spiraling process, so that then you give marks interim at different juncture of the assessment. So and then it allows you to differentiate and separate the the sections or the part that you get the students to do, the part that the AI systems can do, isn't it? And when the students are doing the AI part of the assessment, then you get them to ask questions or to critically think or critique the AI output. So it allows that knowledge building in in better ways. Apart from giving assessment that gives mark right at the end, student will just submit those things to check or course hero, and uh, within the matter of 2 or 3 days they get the submission done, just pass it to you. So there's no learning happening at the beginning, at the middle. Right. Thank you very much for that.
Anyone else? If not, I have one question, Dr. Zahidi. Regarding your custom GPT just now, you're doing the curriculum review.
Yep.
How long do you think if you use that to finish our one course?
Can you ask?
You mean when you do a curriculum review, right? Yeah, you put together all your requirements inside that tape. How long it will take to process the whole complete documentation?
Oh, okay. So, although I use a custom GPT, I don't use it as a magic pill. So it's still a long process because we, as the one who are doing the curriculum review, we are critiquing the outputs. So we critique the outputs. It gives us the sort of the fundamental things that we can worry about, suggest the mapping that would sort of work, but we are still doing that the critical part of making sure that so this really does map. But to answer your question just now, it will shorten the process by about half, I think. So if you need 2 years to do that, then of course you can't do curriculum review for 2 years, because by the second year, whatever that you design in the first year would have already gone obsolete. So it's very important that you are able to use the AI to cut short that process, because it will make sure that the curriculum that you design during that 6 months is relevant and is going to be relevant for the next 3 years in the cycle. Right.
Okay, thank you. I think we have to be very selective of what we ask the AI and what we can do.
Exactly.
Okay, right. Thank you very much. Is there any more questions? Yes, the thing.
I'm not enough. See, talking about assignment, I'm from pharmacy. Giving student assignment, and you say, learning must happen. So if everybody use a chat GPT, and there's no way for us to know whether learning takes place, so the only way we can do is perhaps getting them to present an assignment, do oral presentation. But when the numbers break, it's also impossible to do, isn't it? So what do you think we can, solve this issue?
Okay, so let me think. So when you say number is big, how big are you talking?
We can't check. We can't check. This is a big issue.
Yes. Well,
I want to ask something.
Okay. So
Assignment is a short, but nowadays the problem with the thesis actually.
okay. Also, that's a separate question, isn't it? So let me address the first question first, and then we go into the thesis. So yeah. So the problem of large class, large sort of batch thing. I think we can draw an inspiration from Harvard professor or Stanford professor. His name is Eric Mazur. Okay, so Eric Mazur, I think, is a Harvard professor. Yeah, Harvard professor of physics. So his class is actually 300 students. And what he does is that, of course, the normal exam is there, but you get the students to learn with themselves. So it's something that what we call peer learning. So peer learning allows the learning to happen because students need to negotiate answers among themselves. So I would point you to that direction. So do look at the literature by Professor Eric Mazur, and you look at how he solves the large class learning problems. Okay. Yes. Your question is now.
Yeah, last week I had a discussion with my friend. He is a professor in the Bombay.
Okay.
And we talk about the same problem, about the assignment.
Okay.
He said actually for the assignment, he said, I can discover from their write up that the language is very high and not to their level. This is number one. Number two, he said that I asked them few questions to find out whether they are understand what they put in their assignment. And he said, by this way, I can discover that they are using the AI for preparing their assignment. Now, this is for the short, actually. But now for let's talk about the postgraduate student. There is a lot of advertisement now in Facebook that they are helping in write up for thesis and prepare thesis.
Yeah.
So how we can the first questions from your last issue, how we can protect this, and how we can really discover this and control it.
Okay. So I don't have a short answer to that, and I don't have a clear answer to that because I'm also facing the same problem. Just last week, I was challenging this international student from China on her postgraduate thesis because she can barely put together a sentence when having a conversation with me. But her thesis is like a first native speaker of English. So how do I connect this thesis with that person? I'm still trying to find the answer. So if any of you here have the answer to that, please, I would like to hear because I'm also struggling with this issue right now. So unfortunately, I don't have a definite answer for you, but this is something that I would say we are facing. We are aware of this, but we are struggling to make sure that yes, this is actually the same person because it looks to me, in my case, my personal case, it does not look the same. So the students was trying to go around things that I actually created this thesis in Chinese first, in Mandarin first, and then I use an app to translate. And this app, I don't remember what it's called, but this app gives out that sophisticated language. But then we need to remember, especially for postgraduate students, they will need to stand in front of a Viva panel. So will they be able to defend their dissertation in front of the Viva panel with the really complex, complicated engineering language? So this is my issue. But then you are struggling to string one proper sentence together in English. And so yeah, so I'm also facing the same problem. I'm still trying to look at how we can solve this. Yes.
That would be a constant problem. I have got this pages from Indonesia, and exactly as you said, they can't put up a sentence a paragraph, you see, and it's written there, but you can see from his, you see, it's a match. No, one sentence to the next and all that, you know, he has plugged it up and he has used all the AI to say, you know, this is how I threaten that, as you say, you have got to stand up and talk. I don't think he can talk, I throw it out. No, so that day, once you threaten them, he said, gee, but it's quite difficult.
Yeah. I mean, if one student, yes, but if you have a host of students who are all doing that, then how do we tackle that? Yes.
They say, I got a lot of students from China.
Yeah, nowadays actually, journals actually, high-ranking journals,
Mhm.
there is a declaration. Last week I submitted one of my papers, and one of the declaration that I declared that I didn't use AI for prepared by our secret for this journal. And when you think this, actually, they are going to check again by their way, they check it, and they may found that I use this or anyone use this
AI.
AI, they will reject it and they
So let me tell you a secret. Most AI detection tools are useless. Despite what they claim, if you use proper context, if you properly, it will not be able to, differentiate whether that's AI generated or human generated. So be careful if there are applications trying to sell AI detection tools for the university, because the one that UM tested, almost all of them did not do what the can says. So that is something that's also important. And so this is something that goes into the dodgy territory. With proper prompting, you can actually cheat that AI detection tool. So, but I'm not advocating for this at all. Okay, but it is possible. Right.
Okay.
Hopefully that answers the question.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it's time for us to close the session. Thank you all for the engaging questions, and can we give a big applause to Dr. Zahiruddin? Dr. Zahiruddin, can you just stay on stage? Dr. Ibrahim, can you give us the token of appreciation? Okay, on behalf of the organizing team, we have a heartfelt thanks to all our distinguished speakers for sharing your time and insight and experience with us. Your words are truly enriched our understanding and spark important conversation about the AI technology. We would like to thank all of you guests, participants, and audience for your present and thoughtful engagement throughout the session. And a big thank you to all our organizing team and volunteers who work hard behind the scene. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you again next session. Okay. We take a photo for everybody. From there. You take from any stand there. You take. Okay, can we have closer? Everybody closer together.